Adam, a kind-hearted man with an instinct to help, offered shelter to a stranger woman on a rainy night. The next day, a helicopter landed near his house, bringing with it a revelation that left him stunned. Unaware of the woman's true identity, his small act of kindness led to unexpected changes in his life, changes he never could have imagined. Welcome to Unveiled Narratives. I'm excited to share another story with you, one filled with mystery, kindness, and unexpected twists. I hope you enjoy it and keep coming back for more. Adam Thompson drove carefully down the rain-slicked road, the storm raging outside, making visibility nearly impossible. His windshield wipers worked furiously, but the fog and relentless downpour made it difficult to see more than a few feet ahead. It had been a long day at work, and he was eager to get home to his modest house, where a warm meal and the solitude he'd grown used to awaited him. As he rounded a bend on the desolate road, his headlights caught the figure of someone standing on the roadside. It was a woman, drenched, shivering, and waving desperately for help. Adam slowed to a stop, rolling down his window slightly. "Are you okay?" he called out, raising his voice over the sound of the rain. The woman approached cautiously, her body shivering in rain. "My car broke down a mile back. I need to get to my friend's house for a party, but I can't." Her voice trembled, not just from the cold, but from the growing hopelessness of her situation. Adam looked her over, noticing her soaked clothes and pale face. Without hesitation, he said, "Get in. You'll freeze if you stay out here." She hesitated for only a moment before climbing into the passenger seat. Adam handed her an old towel he kept in the back seat. "Here, dry off as best as you can. The heater's on." "Thank you," she said softly, her gratitude clear. As they drove, the woman introduced herself as Lily. Adam nodded but focused on the road, the storm worsening by the minute. "How far is your friend's house?" he asked, glancing at her. "About an hour from here," she replied. Adam frowned. Between the fog and the storm, the journey was becoming increasingly dangerous. The isolated area meant there were few passing cars, let alone public transport. He sighed. "Look, I don't think I can get you there safely tonight. My house is about 10 minutes from here. You can stay there for the night, and in the morning, when the weather clears, I'll take you where you need to go." Lily hesitated, her pride warring with practicality. But as another gust of wind rocked the car, she realized she didn't have much choice. "All right, thank you. I promise I won't be any trouble." "Don't worry about it," Adam said, giving her a reassuring smile. Adam's home was modest but tidy, reflecting his simple, hard-working lifestyle. He handed Lily an oversized hoodie and sweatpants. "These might be a little big on you, but they're warm and dry," he said simply. While Lily went to change, Adam stepped into the kitchen and filled a small pot with water, quickly preparing a simple soup. The rich aroma of chicken broth soon filled the room, offering a sense of comfort against the storm outside. When Lily returned, now bundled in the warm clothes, Adam handed her a steaming mug of soup. "Here, this should help," he said. Lily hesitated, her eyes wide with surprise at the thoughtful gestures. "You've already done so much. I don't know how to thank you." Adam shrugged, pulling out a chair nearby to sit down. "You don't have to thank me. A little kindness can go a long way, and everyone deserves that, especially on a night like this." He paused, glancing toward the window where the rain continued to pour. "Dinner won't be fancy," he said as he moved to the kitchen, "but it'll be hot." "That's more than enough," Lily replied, grateful for the warmth and shelter. Adam busied himself preparing a basic but hearty meal, pasta with a side of garlic bread. As they sat down to eat, Lily noticed a framed photograph of a young woman and a little girl on a nearby shelf. "Your family?" she asked, gesturing toward the picture. Adam paused, his gaze lingering on the photo. "Yeah, my wife and daughter. It's just me now." There was a heaviness in his voice that Lily didn't want to press, but before she could respond, Adam spoke again. "You know, tomorrow's my birthday," he said with a small, almost sheepish smile. "Not that I'm doing much to celebrate. I've got work, and I've been saving every penny, so no big plans." "Really?" Lily's eyebrows lifted. "That's a bit sad." Adam shrugged. It's life. I'm just grateful to have a job, a roof over my head, and the chance to keep going. Birthdays aren't as big a deal when you're older." He chuckled, trying to brush it off, but Lily caught the wistfulness in his tone. She wanted to say something to lift his spirits, but instead she simply said, "Well, happy early birthday, Adam. Thank you for everything tonight." After dinner, as they cleared the table, Lily gestured toward the photo again. "If it's okay to ask, what happened to them?" Adam hesitated, but the kindness and genuine curiosity in Lily's expression made him feel safe enough to share. "Years ago, I made some bad decisions," Adam began, his voice steady but tinged with emotion. "Drugs took over my life, and I spiraled out of control. I lost my job, my home, and eventually my family." Lily listened intently, her hands clasped around a warm mug of tea. "My wife tried to help me for years," Adam continued, his gaze distant. "But there's only so much a person can take. When I hit rock bottom, I realized I couldn't keep going like that. I went through rehab, got clean, and decided to start over in a new city." "Is that why you moved here?" Lily asked softly. Adam nodded. "I didn't want reminders of the life I'd messed up. This place gave me a fresh start. I work long hours now, trying to pay off debts I've been carrying for years. It's hard, but it's honest work, and I remind myself every day that I've come a long way from where I used to be." Lily's eyes glistened as she absorbed his words. "That's incredible, Adam. You've turned your life around in a way most people can't. You should be proud of yourself." Adam smiled faintly. "Thanks. Some days it's hard to see it that way, but I try to hold on to hope. You never know when life might surprise you." Lily tilted her head, her expression thoughtful. "That's true. Sometimes things can change when you least expect it." Adam nodded, a small smile tugging at the corners of his lips. "You should get some rest. It's been a long day, and I've got an early start myself." Adam showed Lily to the guest room, offering her extra blankets and making sure she was comfortable. "If you need anything, just knock," he said before retreating to his own room. Lily lay awake for a while, reflecting on Adam's story. Despite his struggles, he remained kind and selfless, a rare quality in her experience. She made a mental note to do something, to show her gratitude, though she wasn't sure how yet. Adam, too, lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. His thoughts drifted to the coming day. It wasn't just another birthday. It was a reminder of how far he'd come, even if the journey ahead still seemed daunting. The next morning, Adam woke early, just as he had planned. The stillness of the house was peaceful, a contrast to the chaos of the storm the night before. He brewed a pot of coffee, the rich aroma filling the small kitchen, and was about to prepare some breakfast when he heard a low hum in the distance. At first, he thought it was the storm subsiding, but the sound grew louder and more distinct. Stepping outside, Adam froze in disbelief. A sleek black helicopter was descending toward the open field near his house. Moments later, a black SUV rolled up the gravel driveway, its tires crunching over the ground. The SUV came to a stop, and two sharply dressed individuals stepped out. They moved with purpose, their demeanor serious yet calm. One of them, a tall man with a commanding presence, approached Adam, holding up a photo of Lily. "Good morning," the man said politely. "We've been tracking this young woman's location since last night, and it led us here. Is she inside?" Adam blinked, confusion washing over him. Yeah, she's inside. What's going on?" The man tucked the photo back into his coat pocket. "I'm James, Mr. Jonathan Bennett's assistant. Lily Bennett is his daughter." Adam's eyes widened in disbelief. "Wait, she's who?" Before James could respond, the door to the house opened, and Lily stepped outside. She was dressed in the dry clothes Adam had lent her, looking a little startled, but quickly composing herself. "Lily," James said with a respectful nod, "your father's been trying to reach you all night. Your phone must have been out of service." Lily sighed, offering a small apologetic smile. "I'm fine, James. I just had some car trouble and was lucky enough to find someone kind enough to help me." She gestured toward Adam. James's gaze flickered to Adam. "I see. Mr. Bennett will want to meet him then." Lily turned to Adam, her eyes softening with gratitude. Adam, this is James. He's my father's assistant. I didn't expect all of this, but I guess he's worried. Adam still wasn't sure what to make of the situation, but Lily's reassurance helped him find some footing. The helicopter ride was silent except for the occasional hum of the blades cutting through the sky. They landed smoothly in the estate's expansive yard, and as they stepped out, Adam found himself awestruck by the sheer scale of the place. A tall man in his late 50s with silver hair and sharp, intelligent eyes stood waiting on the steps. This, Adam assumed, was Jonathan Bennett. "Mr. Thompson, it's a pleasure to meet you," Jonathan greeted him, his voice deep and calm. He extended a hand, which Adam shook firmly. Lily stood beside them, smiling warmly. "Dad, this is Adam. He's the one who helped me last night." Jonathan's expression softened with gratitude. "I can't thank you enough, Mr. Thompson. You've not only kept my daughter safe, but you've shown a rare kind of kindness in a world that doesn't always have much of it." Adam was taken aback by the sincerity in Jonathan's words. He had done nothing extraordinary. He had just acted on instinct. But the weight of Jonathan's words made him feel like something more. "I just did what anyone would do," Adam said, his voice steady but his nerves still evident. Jonathan smiled, though there was a glint of something deeper in his eyes. "Still, I insist. Please, let me offer you something." He pulled a thick envelope from inside his jacket and handed it to Adam. "It's not much, but I want you to have this. Consider it a token of my appreciation." Adam hesitated, his fingers lingering on the envelope. "I didn't do it for money," he said. "I'm just glad she's safe. That's reward enough." Jonathan paused, then nodded as if understanding something deeper about Adam. "I respect that, but please accept this. You've helped more than you know." Adam shook his head politely, unable to accept. "Thank you, but I couldn't." "All right, Mr. Thompson," Jonathan said with a smile. "Then at least allow us the pleasure of having you join us for breakfast." They sat at the grand breakfast table, where a spread of fresh fruits, eggs, and tea awaited them. The atmosphere was warm and inviting, and the conversation flowed effortlessly. "So, tell me about yourself, Mr. Thompson," Jonathan asked, his tone relaxed now. "I'm curious to know more about the man who helped my daughter." Adam hesitated, but shared a little about his background. He talked about his struggles with addiction, the long road to recovery, and the hard work he had put into rebuilding his life. Jonathan listened intently, nodding occasionally, while Lily seemed intrigued, her gaze never leaving Adam as she processed his words. "You've come a long way," Jonathan remarked thoughtfully. "It takes a lot of strength to make it through what you've gone through." Adam smiled faintly. "It hasn't been easy, but I'm getting there." As breakfast came to a close, Jonathan's expression softened. "You're welcome to stay here for as long as you like. You've done something rare today, Adam. If there's ever anything I can do for you, just ask." After leaving the Bennett estate, Adam returned to his home by helicopter, his mind racing. He wasn't sure what to think of everything that had happened, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted in his life. Later that day, after returning to work, Adam received a call from his bank. The news left him stunned. His entire debt had been cleared, and an additional amount, equivalent to more than a year's salary, had been credited to his account. The bank representative explained it was an anonymous transaction, leaving no clue as to who had made such a generous act. Adam sat in silence, his phone still in his hand, his heart pounding. The amount was more than enough to change his life. He knew deep down that it was Lily and her father who had done this. The gesture, both generous and mysterious, left him overwhelmed. A small act of compassion on a stormy night had returned to him in a way he could never have imagined. Later that evening, after a long day at work, Adam returned home, still processing the events of the day. As he drove up to his house, he was stunned to see lights twinkling in his yard. His heart skipped a beat as he pulled into the driveway and saw that his front yard had been transformed. There, in the middle of the yard, was a beautifully decorated table with a large birthday cake. Balloons fluttered in the breeze, and festive decorations brightened the space. Standing by the table were Lily and Jonathan. "Adam!" Lily called out, her voice warm with excitement. "Happy birthday!" Adam stood frozen for a moment, overwhelmed by the gesture. The kindness, the thoughtfulness, it was more than he had ever expected. Jonathan stepped forward, shaking Aaron's hand firmly. "I know it's not much, but we wanted to do something for you. You've done more for us than you know." Tears welled in Adam's eyes as he looked at the birthday cake. He hadn't expected any of this, especially not after all the struggles he had faced. The weight of the past few days hit him all at once. Lily smiled gently. "You deserve this, Adam. We're glad to have you in our lives." As they celebrated together, Adam felt a warmth that went beyond the birthday cake and the decorations. It was the warmth of true kindness, of people who cared, and for the first time in a long while, he felt truly seen. If this story inspired you, help us share more meaningful tales by hitting the like button and subscribing to our channel. Your support allows us to bring more powerful stories to life. Join our growing community and be part of something truly impactful.